Hello and welcome back to HT Auto Reviews. After being cooped up inside our homes once again because of the pandemic, it's finally good to be out in the open once again. And what better way to kickstart our reviews than with the all-new Hyundai Alcazar. Yes, it's the first three-row SUV from Hyundai here in India, and Hyundai is promising a whole lot more in this car. Does it live up to all of those promises, or is it merely an elongated version of the Creta? The good, the bad, and everything in the middle in our first drive review of the Hyundai Alcazar SUV. That Alcazar is the closest sibling of Creta is quite obvious from the front. The headlights, complete with DRLs, are near identical, and so are the fog lights. The front grille is slightly bigger and slightly more flashy, but the resemblance still is uncanny. The body lines on the sides, the ORVMs, and the alloy designs too are either identical or almost identical. But this is a three-row vehicle, and as such, the wheelbase is clearly larger. In fact, at 2760mm, it is best in segment. The roofline does stoop slightly towards the C-pillar, but compared to the Creta, it is more upright now for more headroom for the third row passenger. Personally, I prefer the stretch rear lights on the Alcazar to the squarish one on the Creta. It is about elegance versus sportiness, even if the lights do look slightly similar to the Tata Hexa, at least to me anyway. There's some chrome highlight at the rear, a grey rear skid plate, and open the tailgate for 180 litres of boot space with all three rows up. With the second row down, there is even more space on offer for luggage. And in the 6-seat layout, you can customize and choose how you would fold the seats in the middle for placing special objects like sporting goods and more. Speaking of the three rows, let's start from the one at the very last. So this is how the car looks from the outside, but the Alcazar's real inherent test is that third row. So it's time we take a look at how easy or not it is to get inside that third row. A simple stumble and fold. The second row is good enough to make way for entry into the third. The fact that there are side sills here can be really helpful, especially for the elderly if they so choose to sit on the last row. For now, really, this is all it takes to get inside the third row. Now, the space, the leg space, not the best, could have been better, but remember there is 180 litres of boot space as well. So, considering the space, the size of the boot, I feel that Hyundai could have maybe cut down a little bit on the boot and given a bit more space. What does work in the 6-seat layout though is the fact that the central armrest for the second row passengers has been very smartly moved a little front ahead, so I have quite a lot of space for 1 feet here, and similarly if there is another passenger can place his or her foot here. Overall, the leg space is not great of course, but not too bad either. There is a lot of headroom as well. I'm not the tallest, but I still find the headroom to be nicely adequate. The seat cushioning is decent. Thankfully, I have the AC vents here and they can also be controlled for speed. I can also charge my phone thanks to the fast charge USB ports right here. But really, the second row would be my favorite place inside the Alcazar, and there is good reason why. Let's take a look at the second seat then. Now, one of the reasons why I found the leg space in the third row satisfactory was because the seat in the middle row was like this. Not comfortable, clearly, but you can adjust the seat here, pull it back, and really adjust the seats also for recline. And as long as you have an accommodating person in the third row, you won't really hear any complaints. Now, what makes the second row the best row in the Alcazar are a lot of things. Firstly, the space that I have, the shoulder room is really good. The headspace is fantastic. There is a large panoramic sunroof here which can be controlled via voice. You can also pull up the sunshade here. You have a nice armrest right here. It's made of soft touch leather. There is storage space here, and first in segment wireless charging in the second row. You also have storage space here. You can control the AC vents which are placed here. There's a charging point here in case your phone is not compatible with wireless charging. There is some storage space here as well. And my personal favorite is this tray table right here. It's got a groove here. You can place your iPad or Android tablet and watch your favorite shows. It can hold a maximum weight of 3.5 kilos is what is written here. If you don't like it, you fold it back in and just really unwind thanks to these really soft cushions that you generally tend to find in high-end luxury vehicles. So Hyundai has really tried to give as many premium benefits as possible in the second row. One thing that I really do not like in the Alcazar second row is the space that I have for my feet. Space is constrained because of the rails on which the front seats are at. So on long journeys, if I want to adjust my feet, well, that can be a bit of a bother. And because I personally prefer long journeys behind the wheel, it's time we take a look at what the Alcazar has on offer for the driver and the front seat passenger. Now in the front row, there are a lot of things to look forward to as well, starting with this gorgeous 10.25-inch main infotainment unit. It is once again very, very responsive to touch. Everything on the screen is very easy to read because there is hardly any reflection from outside, and you can control most of the features of the vehicle, whether that's for the air purification system or the Blue Link or the air conditioning through the screen here. Now, underneath are physical buttons too for changing tracks, for volume, for media, radio, navigation, and all such functionalities. Underneath are your controls for air conditioning, and the center console is finished in piano black. Yes, it does attract dust, but it otherwise, if you maintain it well, looks pretty upmarket. You have the charging system here, you have a 12-volt charging socket here, you have the USB charger and a fast USB charger. Of course, the wireless charger is here as well. Now moving a little further back, you have the nice looking gear shifter. It has the drive and traction control, which is really easy to operate from just one dial here. There is the button for auto park hold, and the front two seats of the Alcazar in the top end versions have ventilated functionality. So you can control that functionality through simple press of buttons here. And let's not forget, this car also comes with 360-degree camera view. So just a press of a button and the display will come on the screen. Storage space is also something that the Alcazar has in plenty for the front driver and the passenger. So you have space here on the center console. The armrest is soft touch leather. There is some space here underneath it, and there are enough space for bottles on the side doors as well. Overall, the fit, quality and finish of everything in this car is top notch. The special attention to what the driver has at his disposal. The steering on the Alcazar can be adjusted for rake and reach, so you can adjust it to your liking. There are also paddle shifters for those who are more enthusiastic behind the wheel, and there is a general commanding view of the road. A lot of people want to know if I can see how much I can see in front of me, and well, just for some reference, I can almost see till the end of the bonnet, which is always a great thing inside a car of this size and shape, especially when you're on the move. And speaking of being on the move, it's time to put the Alcazar to its actual test. So let's get this car rolling. Now the test unit that we've been given of the Alcazar has the petrol motor. It's the same petrol motor that is found inside the Tucson and the Elantra. It's the 2-liter motor, and frankly, Hyundai could have taken the easier route and put in the same engines that are found inside the Creta, but instead in the petrol, they have given it a more powerful option, and that is immediately noticeable the moment you get a move on. First, the positives. The biggest positive of the Alcazar, according to me, is the fact that you don't realize that this here is a longer version of the Creta. It's also a slightly heavier version, because in the petrol motor, the car moves really fluid. It moves like it's got a spirited heart, and to get a move along, even in the eco mode that I'm in right now, is really no problem whatsoever. In city traffic conditions, the typically lighter steering wheel helps the car take turns really well. So there is a U-turn coming right up, and frankly, this car, despite its longer proportions, just takes turns effortlessly. There is some degree of road noise coming inside the cabin, but other than that, the NVH levels are really under check. So that's a job well done. The suspension is again on the softer side, which means that most of the regular speed breakers won't be too much of a problem, at least in the front seats and in the middle seats as well. Now the speed breaker, yeah, no problem whatsoever. And then when you move past that speed breaker and you want to get a move along, even in eco mode, like I mentioned, this car does get quite a move on for itself. But if you need some more excitement, there is the option of switching to the sport mode. Oh well, grunt of the engine, and the difference is clearly visible. At triple digit speeds, the Alcazar moves with quite a lot of precision. It holds its straight lines really well, but once you keep moving up and beyond the triple digits, well, I would then require some sort of feedback, which typically is always absent from the steering wheel of the of Hyundai cars. Now, the positive that you have from the steering in city conditions turns into a bit of a letdown when you're well above triple digit speeds out on open roads, as we are currently. Remember, the petrol engine is really well complemented by the 6-speed auto gearbox that's inside this particular vehicle. You also get the 6-speed manual transmission. At least in the automatic, I have hardly ever found the transmission to be sort of second guessing which number it should slot itself in. You want to get a move on? The transmission will kick in to the right gear slot almost instantaneously. It's time to have a little bit of fun with the terrain modes. We've spoken about the drive modes, but let's check out what the terrain modes have on offer. Very simple, you just press the button on the dial right here and it moves on to the terrain traction selection. So you can select between snow, hardly any snow here in Delhi, Gurgaon. Then you have sand and mud. So let's see if this car can really drive dirty. Now there's good reason why the diesel variant of the Creta does better business than the petrol one, and Hyundai tells us that of the 4,000 bookings for the Alcazar in the initial round, 55% of the bookings have been made for the diesel engine. We're in the Alcazar diesel, and somehow it seems clear why a lot of people may prefer this over the petrol. We're driving the diesel engine, which has the 1.5 litre engine, and it's mated in this test car to a 6-speed manual transmission. This gearbox inside the Alcazar is a very familiar one for anybody who has been driving a Hyundai car for some time now. The shifts are smooth, short and slick, and to really get a move along after the 2000 RPM mark is nearly effortless. If you're in the market for an Alcazar but you'll primarily drive a car in the city, then we would strongly recommend the petrol with the automatic transmission. But if you're someone who will be making a lot of road trips and long journeys, then the diesel automatic may be the one to bet on. For somebody who's looking for an enthusiastic drive, you can't really fault the manual 6-speed transmission inside the Alcazar. The Alcazar is a shrewd example of Hyundai's India strategy, and shrewd in a good way. It's got decent looks, but looks are subjective. It's got decent space on the inside, but where the car truly excels in is A, in the number of features, the petrol and engine option, the manual and automatic transmission, and it's backed by, of course, Hyundai's robust post-sales service network. Is Creta then under a threat from its elder brother? Not really, because I firmly believe the Creta buyer would still prefer that car because of its more youthful appearance, a more youthful sporty drive, and its comparatively compact dimensions. The Alcazar actually competes with the likes of the Tata Safari, the MG Hector Plus, and Mahindra's XUV 500, which is going to be updated to the 700. The only Achilles heel, in fact, for the Alcazar is in its pricing. As I mentioned even in our i20 review, the pricing structure could have been more attractive to lure new buyers. That said, that apart, this car is packed with features, as I mentioned, and could be a strong consideration for people in larger families and for whom budget isn't a massive consideration. What do you think about the Hyundai's Alcazar SUV? Do let us know. For now, this is all we have. Stay tuned for more such in-depth reviews.